Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something that someone suggested for me to do for beginners, and that is how can we improve the new starter decks that are coming out in Reign of Jafar, that have come out in Reign of Jafar. We've got two. We've got the Amber Amethyst one that revolves around singing, that's right here. And then we've got our Ruby Steel one that involves challenging and rushing and reckless. Before I go into this, please like and subscribe and comment down below what kind of changes you're going to be making with your starter decks. There's probably a lot of new players coming into Lorcana and starting their journey in Lorcana with starter decks. So I can give you some lowdowns and some hot tips to make the decks more consistent and ultimately stronger. So we're going to start off with like the early game, so the 1 drops and the 2 drops. And there are a few things you want to consider with the early game with this Amber Amethyst Singer deck. One of them could be playing Cinderella. So Cinderella is a 1 drop with Singer 3. So once you've played her, the following turn you can sing songs that are 3 or less. Perfect, absolutely perfect card to have in a deck that sings songs, and you're able to get things down quite quickly. You're able to play some songs quite quickly. So Friends on the Other Side is notoriously a 3-drop card, so turn 3 you should be drawing 2, but Cinderella turn 2 can make you draw 2. And there are plenty of cards like that, you know, such as Bare Necessities or others that I also want to include in adding to our starter deck. So Cinderella is a really good 1-drop singer. Then we also have Daisy Duck, who is also a 1-drop, and luckily with her, she's going to be around for an even longer time because she's set 5, I think. She is a sort of card you'd want to consider to play to bring out the aggro in you. So questing for 2 puts pressure on your opponent, so that low pressure is sort of is what she brings for you. And she can be particularly good against certain decks that have lots of actions and songs too, because when she quests, the opponent looks at the top card, and if it is an action, or if it's a non-character, it's going to be put at the bottom of the deck, which can be very, very important. I've recently played against somebody who kept putting my Be Prepared on the bottom of my deck, and that wasn't fun. Magic Broom, Diablo, and Chernobog's followers. I'd consider these cards as more utility, such as early game drawing. You know, if Diablo sticks on the board, then you're getting some decent amount of lore, but if your opponent wants to get rid of him, then you draw a card. I would probably blend all of those in and play test them all, decide if you like the drawing and lore or drawing and singing. We do play a lot of singers in the deck, so I'd consider either adding more cards, more copies of that card to make it more consistent getting it, but I'd definitely consider playing the Ariel from chapter 1 because she's probably the best character to look through your deck of the top 4, I think, to search a song that you need. And she's also a singer 5, but you've also got Prince Naveen, I think it's Prince Naveen, who also is a singer, and when he's played, you can play pretty much any song for free, which is great. And then you have the lower budget ones with Gazelle, who is a 3-drop singer 5. So I recommend looking at singers that are better than what's in the current starter deck. Talking about singing, we need to sing some songs. So I've already said Bare Necessity is a really good card to add to your deck, ripping a card from your opponent's hand. You have Friends on the Other Side, which I believe are in the deck, but having 4 copies of cards like that is super duper important. And then you've got niche cards like the World's Greatest Criminal Mind. If your partner or your close friends or people at your store are playing like high strength characters, singing that song will just remove them really easily. Zero to Hero. So Zero to Hero is a really good card, which I played in one of my Encanto decks, and it was able to cheese out some higher costing characters for a low ink cost, because it counts how many characters you have in play. So that's what I think should be added. I definitely think you should be adding Antonio, who's a new card that searches your deck in this game is very unheard of. I think we only get 1 copy, so boosting the numbers for 4 or 3 or 4 of him would be really, really important too. So yes, our Ruby Steel deck is next with Mulan and Stitch as our foil characters in the deck. It involves gaining some kind of positives from challenges, okay? So we want to put some cards in that just utilize that even more and even better and more consistently. Early game, I think it's really important to consider playing Happy, our dwarf, because he becomes evasive in your turn, so he can get rid of some pesky early game evasive characters. I'd also consider the 1-drop Robin Hood because he has a big shift character turn 3, so that would be pretty cool, especially when Robin Hood, the big one, will gain you some lore when it's challenging as well. Then we have some staples that will be in pretty much every Steel deck list going forward, or Steel and Ruby deck lists up until the point where they get rotated out. However, definitely consider Mr. Smee, a very early released card, but very, very reliable 2-drop quitting for 2. Then we have, you know, Pete. I think he just goes in every single Steel deck. Calhoun, which is going to be lasting around for a while, and the fact that, you know, when she banishes something, or I think when she challenges something, she gains you 2 lore, so that's really, really cool, and, you know, works alongside the mechanics of the deck. And so does Goofy, Super Goof, when he's challenging, he gains 2 lore, and the fact that he's rush makes it difficult to deal with if you're playing against it. Then lastly, as a staple, I think Maui, the Reckless Maui from Chapter 1, is a really, really solid card for dealing with locations, and is very, very chunky and can put some damage on the board. I would definitely consider the new Mushu that's going to be coming out, and the old Mushu. The old Mushu will be giving your characters resistant challenges and gaining loads of lore, and the new Mushu will be giving them reckless and rush and evasive, and it's just chaotic with him on the board. And then we have Shere Khan, not a bit of an older card, but when you're challenging, you'll be gaining lore with him. You've got Far Shao, so after your second challenge, you gain lore. So all these Mulan cards just coming together and working really, really well with one another. So that's definitely something to consider when you're improving your Ruby Steel deck. Checking out the rest of the franchise's cards, because they're more likely going to be working really, really well with what the starter deck involves. Especially with the new 1-drop Mulan, where when you play her, you draw a card and discard a card. She also has a shift character with Ruby Steel, and also she's got the Elite Archer. So yeah, Mulan, it would be very, very beneficial franchise to look into to improve your Ruby Steel deck. Last one I wanted to say is Jafar. So from set 7, when you play him, you give something Challenger +2. And I think his stat lines and his loring, he's a really, really solid character. I think he's going to be more of a staple in Steel decks going forward. Let me know what your thoughts are with any cards I missed out that you're going to put in these starter decks. And if you enjoy this kind of video, please let me know, and like and subscribe. And I'm nearly close to 1,000 subs. So yes, help me, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye.